Hello and welcome to my presentation. Today's presentation is going to be with Microsoft Excel, and today we're going to explain how to test the viability of a car loan. Basically what that means is what they're asking us to do is to say, well, you know what, you have $500 a month you can spare on a new car. You have several options and price marks for a car, so you need to determine which car is within your budget based upon the monthly payment. So the first thing we're asked to do is to determine what the current APR is. The current APR I have here is 4.29%, and I gathered that from a website called bankrate.com. Okay, and so the next step would be to determine what the down payment on the car. So we're going to go overall with a basic down payment of 5%. So we had to determine a formula that will give us the down payment based upon 5%. And as you can see here, I have D4 times A12. Okay, so D4 is the down payment here, and then A12 would be the cost of the car. Okay, so when you multiply the two, it gives you $1,000. So that was our down payment. The dollar signs are here to represent absolute values, meaning that D4 will be a constant throughout, whereas A12, this is going to change because we go 12 through down to 16. We copied that down, the formula down, and as you can see, it kind of changes 15, 16. So the next step would be to determine, okay, so based upon what the down payment is and the cost of the car. Okay, so you want to determine what your monthly payment is going to be. So basically we had to use the payment function. So if you go to insert function here, the payment function comes up. We did D5 as an absolute value as explained earlier, and we divided that by 12, which is the number of payments in a year. And then for the number of, we're actually going to do 60 payments throughout the life of this loan for 5 years. It's going to be for 60 months. So we did D6 times D7, which gave us the 60 months. Okay, and then that gave us that. And then we did A12 minus B12 because we wanted to subtract whatever the down payment is for the cost of the car, which is what our PV represents. So what I did here is you also see there's a negative sign in front of this equation here because in this formula because I want all my values to come out positive. Okay, originally I did this, I forgot about the negative sign and everything here was in red, and then things weren't coming out right, and then eventually I said, okay, I know what I did wrong, and I put the negative sign back. Okay, so we have that formula up here. It's a pretty long one, but it works. Okay, so the next thing we're asked to do is to determine, okay, so your monthly payment is here and your budget is $500, so I want you to test this function and see if just to come up with what cars you can afford and which ones you can't. So I did that by doing an if function. So we go back to insert function. And as you can see here, I did a formula here. C12 is less than D8. D8 being a constant throughout because D8 is the budget. So I want to know if it's going to be if C12, which is going to be our monthly payment, is going to be less than our budget of $500. So, and if that is true, it's going to print test drive. And if it's false, it's going to print an NA. So true meaning, yeah, it's in budget, go out and test drive it. And NA meaning, maybe you should be looking at something a little cheaper. So that's pretty much it. And that concludes my presentation.